thanks for coming back. This time we're going to add some electronics to the Recon 120, and not only that, you're going to want to stay tuned because at the end of this video we are going to do our 100 subscriber giveaway. So stay tuned and check this out. Okay guys, so as I said, we're going to be installing electronics into our Recon 120. Now, I'm going to go over exactly what I'm going to be installing in the kayak. So, you guys didn't know yet because I haven't shown you, but I have a GoPro camera pole that I have installed, a DIY one, into the kayak. So, instead of using battery powered, I figured I would go with basically all day power, right? So essentially what we would be doing is we will be hooking the GoPro up directly to a USB port, which would be then hooked up to a 12-volt battery, and that will just constantly run the GoPro without a battery inside it. So what I have opted to use in this situation was I went with a 3-socket 12-volt panel, and now originally this panel had like a cigarette plug socket in it, which I removed and I put in a switch instead because I'm going to be using dual USB ports in the one socket, so I'll be able to actually charge my cell phone in one, and I'll be able to run the GoPro with the other. Also, I have a voltage meter in here so I can keep track of what the battery is reading and how low it's getting. Now, the battery I'm going to be using is a 12-volt 35 amp hour battery, so this is going to be plenty strong enough to run a bunch of things, honestly, for all day of fishing, honestly. The other thing I will be installing with the battery is I have a battery box. Now, the way I'm going to be installing this, I'm not going to need the lid. I'm just going to need the bottom part and the strap that it came with. All this stuff is, easily purchased on Amazon. If you're interested in buying it, I could always leave you guys some links and let you know what I bought, or what I have, I should say. I have some flex tubing for the wires just to keep everything nice and neat. I have some 14 gauge red and black wire, and honestly I think that's about it. So let's dive into the actual installation of all this stuff, and we'll take it from there. Alright, so first let's jump into the battery, right? So we have the battery box, which, like I said, for my application, I do not need the lid. So I'm just going to set that to the side. Now, this is a U1 size battery. Basically, it's used in ride-on mowers, stuff like that. With the battery box came a strap. So I'm going to show you exactly how I am doing this. Obviously, we're going to put the battery inside the box. Now, with the strap, I'm going to show you inside the hatch of the Recon 120 exactly where I'm going to be mounting this and how I'm mounting it. So basically, I'm going to be taking this strap, I'm going to be putting it around the battery and the box itself, but I'm going to be running it through a piece of 3/4 inch PVC with a pool noodle around it, in which I cut the top part of it off. What that's going to do is it's going to let the battery box sit flat against it, and it'll sit in the channel inside the hatch of the Recon 120, and it's going to prevent it from moving around anywhere because it's going to dive down basically the inside of the hatch of the of the kayak basically makes like a V channel in there. This is going to sit right down in there, in which the battery box is going to sit nice and flat, and the strap is going to be actually put through this 3/4 inch PVC, holding it to the bottom of the battery box, and then wrapped nice and tight, sitting inside there. So let me show you exactly what that's going to look like. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take the strap, we're going to fold it up in half, and we're going to run it through this 3/4 inch PVC pipe here. All right, very easy to do. We got it through there. Okay. Now I cut this piece of PVC to be the exact width of this battery tray so that we can hold it down nice and tight in here. So, like I said, this is going to sit on top of here like this. It's going to be centered on the battery, and then it'll be put through, held nice and tight, and it's going to be sitting in the channel inside the hatch of the kayak. So let me take you inside the hatch and I'll show you what this is going to look like. So here you can see inside the hatch of the Recon 120. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to lay this in here just like that with the strap hanging out. Now, the battery with the box is going to sit right on top of that. Hopefully you can see that. What we're going to then do is we're going to put this strap through. We're going to put it in here nice and tight. We'll pull that tight. We'll run this through here. Now, when you get this battery box, you will see how they tell you to use the strap. So now you can see we have that pool noodle in here wrapped around the PVC. Inside that channel, we could slide it all the way back and we are good to go. This thing is now stuck inside this hatch and will not move out of this channel. Now, the great thing about using a battery this size and in this configuration is our hatch, our insert for the hatch, will fit still in there with no problem, and it actually butts up pretty tight up against here, so it's really not going to slide anywhere at all. So that is going to be the setup for the battery. Now obviously we can take it and we can put it this way if you want, so that you can get to the terminals a little bit easier on the battery. But this is how I'm going to be running the setup on this battery. So now let's get into actually installing the switches and exactly where that's going to go. Okay, so this is what I've decided to do with the switch, the voltmeter, and the USB ports. So after looking at a bunch of different areas, I decided the spot I was going to go with for this was, I'm going to remove the seat real quick and I'm going to show you. Now, we have this cutout right here. Basically, this cutout is made to stick a tackle box down in here, but there's one on each side. You can, store tackle boxes or tackle trays, I should say, not boxes, inside the slot behind the seat or next to the seats right here on the sides of the seat. But I have this ram ball mount for my phone, and then you haven't seen the video yet, but it will be made soon. I mounted the pole for my GoPro, basically a boom, a DIY boom. I mounted it to my crate that I have for the kayak, the crate system, and basically you'll see in the next video that whole setup. But what I've decided to do is actually take this panel and I'm going to mount it right along the side of the seat down here, pretty much out of the way. which is basically going to be very easy access, just to run a wire a very short distance for the cell phone into the USB, and then from the pole for the GoPro a short distance right to the side of the seat over here. So this is the part that obviously people don't want to do, because this entails drilling a hole in your kayak. And there's no room for error when you drill a hole into your kayak. So you have to measure multiple times and make sure you have it exactly set up how you want, where you want, and that's it. So I am going to take these the USB port out of, or the USB socket out of the panel, the voltmeter and the switch out of this panel. We'll put the panel up against here. We'll mark our holes, and then we will drill them out and get them ready for running wires and hooking them up to the battery. So let's remove these out of here and let's dive right into it and just do it. Let's get it done. Alrighty guys, here we go. You know, I'm pretty happy with where it's mounted, where it's sitting. I have it in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the center location of each one of these. And just in case, I'm going to, so I can make sure I have it in the right spot, I'm just gonna draw a circle there. I can now remove this plate. Here we go. All right, we can see the 3 spots that I have marked for the USB port, the switch, and the voltmeter. So now the only thing left to do is drill holes, which of course is nerve-wracking, but we're gonna get it done. So take you in for a little bit of a closer look there. There you go. So let's get into drilling this. Now the one thing I will say, guys, is if you are drilling holes in your kayak, save these little plugs that you cut out, just in case you ever have something where you have any kind of a little crack or something. You have the exact color match to your kayak, and you can actually melt this into the cracks, and you'll be able to fill it in and make it a lot less noticeable. Now the one other thing too that I wanted to point out is, if you're ever drilling into your kayak, be aware of what is behind whatever it is you're drilling. Like in here, I know that there's a line that runs in here. You can actually see it right through those holes probably. There you go. That's just the plastic tubing in here to run your lines for the rudder in the back. So just be aware of that. I knew that going into this, I just didn't mention it. So I don't know if it's probably why you noticed why my finger was in the one hole and I was kind of holding my finger in here while I was drilling. I was just holding that tube out of the way so I don't hit it. So just keep that in mind, guys. Let's put the gauges into the panel and let's see how it fits. So here it is installed, the switch, our USB ports, and our voltage meter. Now we're going to get into wiring this, which isn't very difficult at all. It's just really a matter of running wires. So let's do that now. First things first, we have some 14 gauge wire. Now I have this in red and black. I'm just gonna run it through one of the holes up front towards the battery. I don't need much, maybe 4 or 5 feet. And we'll get into running this up front towards the battery. And then we'll get into wiring up that USB port, the switch, and the voltmeter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a diagram, probably right about now. And this is going to be a diagram of how to wire up these 3 switches together. Extremely easy. So let's get into wiring this kayak up. So I have a power wire run up here. You can see it right through there by the battery. Now I also have an inline fuse holder. Now on one end I put a butt connector with some string tubing, and on the other end I put a ring terminal. So now what I'm just going to do is I'm going to strip this end. I'm going to put these together. I'm going to slide my string tubing over. We're going to melt that on there for a nice, secure, waterproof connection. Alrighty guys, as you can see here, we have our wiring to the battery completed. Now that is a red wire, positive, and our black wire, which is the negative. On the red side, we have our inline fuse holder, which is right here, which also has a fuse inside it. Let's see if I can open this one-handed. There you go. Now you can see I have my wires neatly tucked up under here. Now the one thing I use on here that I didn't tell you about to hold the wires up like this is basically a double-sided tab. Let me grab that for you. So here we have one of these tabs. Now basically this tab is just a plastic tab that has double-sided tape on the one side, and then it's got these slots in here you can see, in which you can run a zip tie through in order to hold your wires securely to this tab and keep them in place. Hence, right there you can see where I have it. And then I have actually another one on the other side of that wiring. So this is the wiring to the battery complete. Now let's get into the actual USB port, the voltmeter, and the switch itself. Okay guys, as you can see, I have these switches installed. They are screwed in, it's mounted, it's very nice and straight, it's out of the way in here. Now the one thing I wanted to show you is that I didn't record, I actually did record it, but the audio was horrible on it. So this is basically in that diagram what you do here. Now you're just going to loop these wires to each other into a female disconnect. So basically what you're going to have is one going into the other, and into the other, all the grounds together. You're going to do the same thing with the positives, and that's really it. I mean, there's really not a big, there's nothing to it. It's not a big deal at all. Like I said, follow the diagram. It makes it super easy, and that's that for that. Now, the one thing I will show you is with the flip of a switch, yes, it works. Hopefully you can see that. All right, guys, as you can see with the seat installed, you can barely even see this panel in here. To be honest, it's not in the way at all. If I still want to stick a tackle tray in here, 100% I absolutely can. Like I said, this is going to work perfect for what I needed to do. It's just an option, and super easy to do. So I'll take you in for a closer look so you can see what it looks like underneath the seat from that angle, and then we're going to get into that giveaway. From one side of the seat to the other, there's the switch panel. I'll give you a couple different angles and views. There it is. There it is from over top of the seat. From the front underneath the seat, there it is. And then I'll give you an angle too from right next to the side of the seat. And there it is from the location if you were sitting in the seat looking down, which you can see you still have access to put a tray in there if you really want to. It's not going to interfere with anything. Alrighty guys, I have everybody who has commented in my last video on this wheel right here. Now, there were 2 requirements. 1, you must comment on my last video, and 2, you must be subscribed for this 100 subscriber giveaway. Now, this giveaway is going to be for basically a mystery tackle box and some other stuff added. So good luck to everyone who has entered. Let's get into it. And the winner is John H. John H., congratulations, you have won my 100 subscriber giveaway. Alrighty guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I absolutely appreciate every one of you who subscribe and comment and like these videos. Hopefully this is gonna help you guys out if you want to install some power into your kayak, whether it be just a USB port or just for your, power for up to your fish finder or anything like that. Again, John H., you have won the 100 subscriber giveaway. I will get that out to you as soon as we get to the arrangements. You can contact me on here. If not, you can hit me up on Instagram. My username there is the absolute same as what my YouTube name is. So you can message me on there privately. Just let me know that you were the winner and we will get all the information straightened out so I can send this to you. Again, guys, I absolutely appreciate you guys all coming and watching these videos. If you would just do me a favor again, if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. We're going to blow this channel up. We're going to do a bunch more giveaways, a lot more DIYs, how-tos. So do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, hit that bell notification so you can be notified when I have more upcoming videos coming, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.